Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesusjunkjournals, and we are working on the Luke journal. I'm going to pull some pages from the add-on kit. This is where all the ephemera, all the goodies are that you're going to put in your journal. And I'm going to pull out page 9 and I'm going to pull out page 4 because they're very similar. They have these flaps and pockets, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. I started cutting this one out already. Hope everybody's having a good craft day, either doing some crafts or watching some crafts. And I've got my decoupage napkin here that's not quite glued down. So I am just going to take my scissors and cut that off. I don't need it to be over the whole thing. And it's kind of gotten glue on it and kind of made a mess. So, okay, so now this is the pocket that's going to go on the back of it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And I'm going to take my 2-inch punch, circle punch, and I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, let me make sure I get this the way I want it. So this is going to get glued in. It's going to have a pocket here. Probably like that. So I'm probably going to put the circle here. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball where it's centered and cut a little notch like that. And then I'm going to take my distress ink and ink the edges of the pocket. So let me set this over here for a minute. And I'm going to get my scoreboard and line this fold line up on one of those lines. Score it. And that'll be your glue tab to attach it to the journal page. On the last video I showed you the folding bone and I said what it was for. Well, here's a perfect example. It's like I folded it with my hand, and even though it was scored, it's still sticking up. So you take a folding bone and you just crease that down really well, and then it's flat and everything lays really nice when you use that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and ink these edges. I'm even going to fold this tab back and ink that. Whoop, try to ink that. And actually, one more thing. Okay, this is going to seem really picky. Sorry, you guys, but this olive green and this turquoise doesn't make me happy together, so I'm going to add some more. Sorry, I'm going to add some more olive green to the background. So I'm going to use my matte medium, which, you know, I don't think I used this, or if I did, not very much, on my journaling. I used to use it constantly when I did the art journaling. If you've looked at my videos, I've done 2 sets of art journaling, 2 art journals with prompts and things. So if you like to art journal or you think you might want to do it, go check those out. And I've got prompts and things that you can use to guide you and give you ideas. This actually dries pretty quickly. Okay, so now I feel better about putting this pocket on. So I'm going to use my pH neutral PVA glue. And if you have, I'm trying to talk about this because I always use a Barely Art glue or art glitter glue before, but this is something new that I've been using and I like it a lot. And one of the things I like about it is the applicator, but you can see I can get a really small line of glue there when I'm paying attention. So now I'm just going to ignore that. I'm going to wipe that back. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here on this side. And I want to look, make sure, yeah, see it's sticking out. But I can also cut off what's ever sticking out, so there's that. But okay, so there's the pocket, and so now this is ready to add. And so now I need to find, where do I want to put it? So it's going to go on, well, it's going to go on this side actually, so it needs to be a page where, and that would be not too bad actually, the very first page. And I like the greens with it, so I think I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to add the glue. What I started to say before it messed up on me was that you can control the glue with this tip without a lot of fuss, unlike the other glues that I mentioned. Okay, and I'm going to glue this tab. I want it right on the edge of the page. Okay, so now we have a fold-out flap with a hidden pocket. And then also on this page was this little, it says top of Notepad. So let's cut that out. There are 3 little lines on this end. So if you take your scoring tool, scoring board, do you guys do like I do and everything just starts to come to the center of your workspace until it's all piled up? Okay, so I'm going to put it against here to get a straight edge, and I'm going to have to move it just a hair off to get that to line up with one of these score lines. And I'm going to score it where those 3 marks are. And so you're going to fold it, and then these fold in like that. And they should, I made those 2 shorter, so they should fit in there without binding up. So you should get this kind of a look. Okay, and so then I'm going to take my ink and ink the edges. And you really only have to do one side because you're going to glue it in. So now you need paper for it, for your notepad. So let me find some. Okay, so I've got some scrap paper here. So what do we know? Let me get my scoreboard out here because it's got measurements on it. So we know that this is a little over, just past 4.5. So if you get paper that's 4.5 inches wide, it'll fit nicely under this flap. So 4.5 by however long you want it to be to fit on your page. So roughly it goes to 8 inches. So if we do 7 inches, so like 4.5 by 7 inches is kind of what I'm shooting for. I'm going to write that here on a scrap. 4.5 by 7. Okay, so 7 is roughly here. I'm going to use my tearing ruler again. Tell you, sometimes I don't use it at all, and this time I'm using it a lot. Okay, so there's that, and then I want it to be 4.5-ish. So mark it here and mark it here. And I'm eyeballing it, so it may not be exactly straight, but and you could go to the trouble of tearing both sides if you wanted to. I don't think I'm going to. I think I will make one rough on one side, straight on the other, and the other one rough on that side. Let's see, what can we do with brown paper? All right, I'm going to fold this in half, sort of. And then I'm going to tear it roughly there. And I think I'll cut it there. I'm just going to sketch a line across it. And same with this piece. Something like that. So let's see. All right. And I don't know how well this will work. It's going to need to be kind of a small little piece. Sometimes it does well, sometimes it doesn't. That did really well. Okay. All right. And then, so you can see I'm using all sorts of cheat ways to measure. Just so I have vaguely the right size. Oh, this is another side that I need to take just a little bit off of. Okay, and trim through the stitches, which gives me a fairly straight line, and then tear that. Okay, and that gives me and I want the straight edges on one end. So there's my paper that's going to go into my little folded piece here. Okay, and I've got those pushed in all the way up. Hopefully, I don't want anything sticking out on the sides. And now I'm going to get a clip. Now I'm going to get out my crocodile. If you've watched me before, you know I say this every time. I don't like the crocodile for grommets. If you do, good, I'm glad. But I don't. I like to use the old-fashioned kind with the hammer, but that's what most people use a crocodile for. But I bought it thinking I was going to use it for grommets, and I didn't like it. But you know what it is good for? Is punching holes. It's got a little bitty hole punch here, and then a bigger one here. And you can move these back and forth and make sure that the holes are exactly the same length from each end. And so I'm going to pick out a ribbon or string to run through this. Hold on just a second. I think I'm going to use a black and white baker's twine to run through this. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch 2 holes equal distance from each end, and we're going to tie the string through it to hold it together. Let's see, this has a lock. You have to unlock it. And then make sure I have the right punch. I want the big punch. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, I'm looking to see how far from the edge it's going to punch. And then I want to kind of center it and punch a hole, turn it around, punch the other side by pushing it all the way back against that stop and centering it. See the hole there? You can see it there. I don't know what I was doing a minute ago. I forgot it did that. That's easier to tell if you centered it. And punch the hole. And then put the string through. And let's see, I probably don't need that much. Okay. And then, now that wasn't a big deal because this isn't that thick, but you can punch, what I like about the crocodile punch is you can punch through some really heavy duty stuff. where a regular paper punch you can't. So that is one good thing about it. And then I'm just going to tie it in a bow. Well, I think what I'll do, actually, I'm going to tie it in a knot. Now, in theory, you could refill this by just untying your thread and putting more pages in it, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot and then tie a bow. It's just easier. Okay, and you can trim the tails off however you want. And then you're going to take it and put it wherever you want it. Now, you could put it under that flap if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And I don't think I want to cover that bird up, so I'm just going to leave that there. So now what I'm going to look for is a page I don't like. This is one of those things you glue in to a page that you don't care for. I don't even have to put it in that signature, so I'm going to move over here to this signature. And I'm going to see if there's a page I don't like, or one I don't like very much. And that's what these things are good for, is to cover up, you know, because, I mean, in theory, you can still see it. I don't really care for that page that much. Look through here real quick, see if there's something ugly. Or, you know, what I think is ugly. You guys might see some things you don't like, but I'm not really crazy about this page. Let's see. I'm going to put it there because I also don't like the way this looks with that. So by putting this over it, it's still visible if somebody wants to look under it, but it's a good way to use it. All right, so I'm going to put my PVA glue, or I'm sorry, yeah, PVA, pH neutral PVA. It says professional quality archival adhesive, books by hand, www.booksbyhand.com. It's also available on Amazon. So it's bookbinding glue and it's archival, which means it will last for years and not ruin your journal. So I'm just going to put that right there, leave a little bit of space. We've got about I don't know, half an inch or so at the bottom. And glue this in away from the fold. And I'm going to put that clamp on it and let it dry like that. Okay, so that takes care of that page. Now, this is the other page that has that same kind of flap and pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And this is the pocket that goes with it, which this one is the same pattern as the cover, so it coordinates. Wonder what, yeah, it coordinates with that, but it doesn't coordinate with that. These are the things when you decoupage that you don't always take into consideration. But I still do it because I can always go back and change it. I could put a piece of white paper over that if I wanted to, so I'm not worried about it. And then we have 6 tags, and I already had glued paper to the back, so they're thick and nice. I like the feel of them, so we're going to cut those out. Then they'll be ready to ink and punch a hole in and put a ribbon on, and they're good to go to put into your journal. Okay, so there's all our little tags. Here's our pocket. So I'm going to take the scoreboard, score this glue tab. So line that up on a line. Fold it. I'm going to get the 2-inch circle punch and punch a pocket. Let's see. So probably here. And ink. So just like the other one bugged me because the greens didn't match, this one's bugging me because we've got a cool pink, although when I ink it, it turns warm, and blue, and I don't have any blue on that. So let me see if I've got anything in my scraps that will tie it in a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to glue the pocket on. And make sure that it's on the edge. Seems like this glue lets you slide things around a little bit better too, because as you know, art glitter glue does not at all. And Barely Art glue does let you reposition a little bit, but this seems to be a little bit more forgiving. I don't know. All right, so cut this off. And then I'm going to ink it. And I'm just inking that white edge there. It'll make it kind of disappear. Finding a place for that. So I don't want everything in the same signature. So I've got something in that signature and something in this signature. So I'm going to go ahead and look in this signature. This needs to go on the left side. So let's look at, start back here. And actually that blue looks really good with that. All right, I'm going to do that. Good deal. Okay, make sure it's right side up. And put it right on the edge. Or very close. I didn't quite get it clear to the edge. I don't know if I can slide that up at all. Yeah. Yeah, just enough. Okay, perfect. All right, and then that opens up, and there's your pocket, and the blues all coordinate, and we're good. All right, and then the other part of that page were these little tags, and so all we need to do is ink those. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my little hole punch. I have a small one and a big one. I'm gonna use the small one. I think I'm just gonna use some more baker's twine on this. Actually, since these have black in them, this black and white will be perfect. And then, do I want to double? I think I'm just gonna do a single, since these are so small and delicate, and then tie a knot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. All right. Okay. All right. So we got 2 of the pages done. We've got 6 tags and 2 flaps with pockets and a notepad to show for our for our day of work. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll come back on the next video and we'll go on with this kit. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.